Hi, my name is Julie Kwan, and I'm running for Republican Party State Executive Committee Woman. Most of my videos, I talk about what is the office and what are my commitments and how I'd like to serve in this office. And that's because most of my questions, that's what I get asked. Usually when a candidate runs for office, people ask, oh, well, why are you running? Tell me about yourself. What are the issues and where do you stand? But I get asked, wait, what office? And what is that? What is it? What do you do? And then I also think it's very important to share that how I commit to serving the office, which includes staying very closely in touch with the voters, attending faithfully all the county meetings in the 5 counties that I would represent, and staying in touch so I can give updates and hear feedback and truly represent the voice of the people in the Tennessee Republican Party. But I've talked about that in a lot of other videos and when I have a chance to speak in public at the different political events during campaign season. So today I want to take just a few minutes to talk about who I am as a person and why I'm running. And that way, people who are looking for more information, hopefully this will be helpful. So I am a Christian, I am a housewife, I'm a homeschool mom. I love gardening, which we've done since we've moved to the country to Marshall County in 2016. I have deep roots. We're new to Middle Tennessee, but I have deep roots, family roots in Tennessee, in eastern Tennessee. My family's been here since the late 1770s, part of the Overmountain Men, if you in Revolutionary War history part, and also settled in the 1780s, and by the 1790s, I think every part of my family tree was in East Tennessee on my paternal side, and then my maternal grandmother, my maternal grandmother's side of the family in East Tennessee, and then my maternal grandfather's side of the family settled in Kentucky. In about the same time frame. They were fought in the Revolutionary War and then settled in Kentucky in the late 1770s, 80s, and early 90s. All the branches of the family were settled in Kentucky and Tennessee. So deep roots in American history. But my husband's family is new to America. They escaped a communist country. They escaped Saigon when Saigon fell, and are legal immigrants, legal refugees to the United States. Closely vetted, very much appreciative of the United States and the freedoms that we have. My husband is very grateful. As a matter of fact, he's spoken a couple times for me in the last few weeks as there's been so many campaign events. Sometimes I'm one place and he'll speak for me at another place. And people have called to tell me he's a quiet man. They haven't heard him speak before, and just how touched they were and how passionate he is about this country and our freedoms. And I knew that. That's part of the reason that I'm running, is we were so motivated to make sure that we do our part, find a way to serve, to maintain our freedoms and our country. But back to a little bit of the family history. So my son, as I homeschool him, he has this wonderful, unique combination of deep roots in America and fresh appreciation of the immigrant, my husband, for our country. So that's a little bit about us, a little bit of background. So let's see. How did I start volunteering in politics? Well, in 2016, illegal immigration was a very important issue for my husband and I, and part of it is because our southern border is just so insecure. There are a number of illegal immigrants, illegal people crossing our border who are caught, but a lot that aren't caught, and we don't know who they are. Some probably harbor no ill will towards the United States, but if they're not vetted and we don't know who they are, we don't know that. And some who are caught are known to be on the terror watch list, for example, as well as known criminals, convicted criminals who have been here, deported, or have criminal records back in their own country. So the insecure southern border, our illegal immigration situation, top concern. Second Amendment, protecting our Second Amendment, as well as all of our constitutional rights, our God-given, constitutionally protected freedoms and rights, all very important to us. So I started volunteering for President Trump's primary campaign because we thought, well, if he's making these promises, we don't think he's going to change, for better or worse, when he gets to Washington, D.C. We thought he would carry through to the best of his ability in his office as president on these campaign promises. So I was so nervous that even picking up the phone to call strangers, I would get tongue-tied and twisted, which I still do, as you can see in this video sometimes. But each time I did, it led to real conversations, great conversations. They would say, oh, you're not a robot, or you're a robocall, you're not a computer or a recording. And I'd say, no, I'm a real person. They'd hear the dog bark in the background, or me get tongue-tied, or my son's Legos fall and make noise. So I really enjoyed calling. I would call across the United States. Obviously, I focused on Tennessee, but then once that primary passed, I also called quite a bit in South Carolina, and some in Nevada, and across, especially in the Midwest and the South, where they could understand me and my Southern accent. I tried calling in New England a few states, but they couldn't. They had trouble understanding me. I also called in Hawaii. That was a lot of fun because you could call there when everywhere else in the United States it was too late to call. So anyway, that's how I started. And then I started attending the local Republican Party meetings. I didn't know before who could attend, so I started learning more about the Republican Party and how I could be involved, how I could make a difference. And once I started learning, everything that I share in various videos and in person are questions I had to ask and didn't understand, and now I'm eager to share them so that other people can feel like they're connected, have their voice heard, instead of being discouraged and disconnected and then not participating because they don't feel like it makes a difference, and it does. And so I'd love to share how to be involved in Tennessee, how things work. I call it the Inside Scoop. I just did an event at the Spring Hill Library where I invited people and we talked about just specifically those things. I call it the Inside Scoop of the Republican Party, and just how to participate. So that's a little bit about how I got started. So I volunteered for the local Republican Party as well as for another campaign or two, and then I was asked to be vice chair of the Republican Party here if I was interested, for that election here in Marshall County. And I said, I don't know, I couldn't possibly speak in front of anyone. And they said, the chair will do it all. You may run a meeting if he gets sick, but pretty much you'll just keep volunteer a little bit more. And so I said yes, and I was honored to be elected. And then within a short time, our chair, I got busy with his work. His company was being sold, and it was sold, and then he took a job out of state. So it was an election year and kind of got thrown in the deep water. I've enjoyed all that I've learned, and I've had so much support right here in Marshall County, and then being able to grow the party and do so many good things here with our scholarships and raising funds to support the Republican candidates that are elected during the primaries, and so much more. I've really enjoyed it. This will give me a chance, the Republican Party executive committee woman, to do the same thing, come alongside the Republican parties in all 5 counties, and do what I can do to help grow the Republican Party and have the voices heard, let people know how to have their voices heard, and so forth. Some of the issues that are important to me are, as I said, connecting with grassroots voters, get that information out, representing them, and then also closing our primaries. That's a big issue that I hear from so many Republicans, that they feel like their voice is diluted because people who are Democrats are joining in and choosing our Republicans, and not always representative of who the grassroots, the actual Republicans want. So that's an issue. What's another issue? So much people want to, they feel like that sometimes the voters aren't listened to. In 2016, we had an issue at the executive committee where some of the support being sent to the RNC, to the convention for President Trump was being shimmied away just a little bit, especially if it had been a close election and it came to second and third round votes. So people felt like that their voice wasn't heard at the GOP at that time. And then there's been other issues. So just running on transparency. And what does that mean? Well, that goes back to me being in connection with the voters and saying, hey, this is the agenda in the coming meeting. How do you want me to vote on these issues? Or what would you like to see come up in the meetings? Also, this is what happened in the meetings. So just that communication and getting the feedback and so forth. So I think that's a little bit about me. That's what I had in the notes, how I spend my spare time, who I am, I guess, a little bit as a person, a little bit about our family background. As I said, I am from Tennessee. I'm born in Tennessee. Most of my roots in East Tennessee. And then my parents divorced. And after that, we moved back to, I was a young child. My mom moved back to Kentucky, where I grew up, and then moved to North Carolina to finish high school. I lived in Montana and even Wyoming for a little while before settling in North Carolina to go to school. And then my husband and I married, and we stayed there until we moved back to Tennessee in 2008. And I loved moving back to Tennessee as we crossed 40 and then came 840. We first moved to Thompson Station, and when we first came back to Tennessee, and it just felt like I was moving back to America in some ways. Now, I love North Carolina. It had great memories there and many great things. We got married in North Carolina. My son was born in North Carolina. I went to high school there, went to college, so great memories. It's not anti-North Carolina, but it had changed a lot. The RTP area, the Raleigh-Durham area had changed quite a bit. And so it was great to move to Tennessee. We first settled in the Spring Hill area, Thompson Station area of Spring Hill, technically in Spring Hill, but Thompson Station address. And we enjoyed that area very much, but we wanted to move out where we could have some acreage. And so that was in Marshall County, and we have fallen in love with Marshall County. Been here since 2016 and laying down roots. And yeah, so I think that's a little bit about me and a little bit about why I'm running, and a little bit about our background. And thank you all. And if you have got any other questions, I look forward to hearing from you. And I hope to be able to serve you and have the honor of your vote to be Republican Party State Executive Committee Woman for State Senate District 28. Oh, you know what? While I'm here, let me tell you how much I've enjoyed campaigning, which I didn't know what I like campaigning, because it seems, I don't know, you just see it in the commercials and so forth. Well, I've really enjoyed it because it's mainly just talking to people about the issues that are important, about again, sharing information about how the party works, and talking about the issues of our day and what's going on in politics and other issues, and just getting to know so many great people in these 5 counties. I had never been to Lewis County. I was very familiar, obviously, with the Williamson County area. We used to live there. Marshall County, I'd already been attending a lot of the Murray County meetings, and because I was learning from the other counties, Giles County, so I was familiar with all of them, but Lewis County was brand new, and I am so glad. That's a silver lining of running. It's a beautiful county, and Hohenwald is a wonderful little town. So I've just really enjoyed getting to know a lot more conservatives, a lot more my fellow Republicans, and knowing how we are all committed and just impassioned for our country and love of country. And so, yeah. Anyway, so it's been great to campaign because it's just talking to people, and really enjoyed it. Well, I hope to get to serve and continue to grow the Republican Party in these 5 counties. And thanks for listening, and feel free to ask any questions, and hope to have the honor of your vote. Thank you.